Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we are meeting in the studio. And I want to apologize that our videos have been a little bit spotty over the last week, maybe 2 weeks. The last month has felt like a year long because so many things have been happening. So, but I wanted to apologize. Some things are changing in our lives, and we're just sort of rebalancing how our dynamics are working. As you all know, I left my job at the cemetery early February. It's been a month now. Yesterday was my last day. So, I left my job at the cemetery. There was some little bits of transition. I was helping with some trainings. I went to a board meeting. So it's only been really like 2 solid weeks of not being at the cemetery. And then I started a new job, and I started my new job back in November. I am a program assistant for an online spiritual development coach. And it's been so much fun. It's just an amazing community to be a part of. It's the best job, really. Just extremely rewarding, very, the culture of the company is just so supportive and just a really wonderful company. And they are super encouraging and motivating me to start my own business, sort of expanding on what we do here at the Gardens and Graveyards channel. And I will talk about that in just a moment. It is Monday, and I wanted to give you all an update on moon gardening tasks. I know it's winter time, and it's really hard to get out in the garden and enjoy the moon, for one. And it's hard to just get out in the garden and enjoy anything at all. We have had a wintry mix off and on all week. So 2 days ago, we had about 2 inches of slushy snow in town, and we've had thunderstorms and just downpours and high winds and just the wintry mix, where it's like, my phone's dinging at me. Where it's like snow mixed in with rain, but it's like, it looks really beautiful, but it's not sticking in the ground, which is fine. We've had hail, like massive hail, which is crazy sometimes. The plants are doing pretty good. We have tulips up and blooming, daffodils up and blooming. They're getting kind of beaten up in the hail. So I'm hoping we'll be able to have a couple dry days next week. The forecast is showing me some dry days in the middle of the week. So I'm hoping we'll have a good dry day, let everything dry out, and then we could do a garden tour for March, so you could have an idea of what's blooming here on the Oregon coast at the end of winter. But yeah, it just hasn't been really comfortable to be out there. So this time of the moon cycle, it'll be a new moon next Sunday, I think, the 10th, next weekend. So leading up to the full moon, you're not wanting to sow any seeds because they will likely rot in the ground or on the surface of the soil. And but it is a good time to feed your soil. So mixing in your composts and working on any soil implementations that you want to work on. If I wasn't so wet, one of the things that I want to work on with my soil is getting the grubs out, because we had in our lower garden, in the Mermaid Garden, which is a new developed garden that is brand spanking new. There's only a few plants in there. We'll be developing it more over this coming year. All the noises. There's a plane going overhead now. One, we had gophers in there really bad. Gophers? Yeah, and they're really bad last summer, but they started to like go away by the end of the summer. But what brings them in is grubs. And I also noticed that I had like beetle damage on some of the plants that I had planted down there, which I've never experienced beetle damage, which just tells me how extensive the grub situation is down there. Okay, maybe that's like a truck or something because it's lasting a really long time, that airplane kind of sound. Anyway, if I had dry weather, I would be working on adding milky spores to my ground down there to remediate the soil so that I could eradicate the grubs, to prevent any beetle damage to my plants and to stop the gophers from hanging out. So any kind of soil stuff that you could be doing this time of the month, leading up to the new moon, is great. Once the new moon hits and we go into the following week, that's a good time for, you know, the vitality of the soil is rising, and it's a great time to sow your seeds and start new gardens, and certainly transplants and stuff like that is a good time to do those. If your weather is permitting, I know it's still winter and there's a lot of us still not planting anything out in the garden yet, but I keep trying to sneak out whenever I can. I also want to say that I've been kind of doling out the seed starting videos over the last month. Just know that if those videos come out during a time when the moon is not advocating for seed sowing, know that when I planted those seeds, they were seeded at the right time. I actually just did a whole bunch of different kinds of seed starting methods in one day a few weeks ago. So I just like separated them out so that you could see the different ways that we could start seeds, but I actually did them all on the same day. I have two more videos coming out with seed starting videos coming out, I believe. Self-watering trays, and then I got a batch of seeds from Florette, from her like new line of seeds. So I was really excited to get those sown. And then I think we're going to be like kind of at a completion with seed starting, you know, in flats and inside. And then, you know, eventually we'll get into starting some seeds out in the garden. I direct sow almost all my vegetable seeds, and unless I buy them as starts. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I've started all the other flower seeds inside this year. So anyway, that's kind of my update, like my moonly update for you all. To get into a little bit more about what else is happening at the Gardens and Graveyards channel, we have a live website now, and you can go check that out if you like. It's www.thegardensandgraveyardschannel.com. I know it's a super long title, but that's who we are. So I will put the link in the description below, so you can just copy and paste if you want to. Let me think. The blog is not up and running. That part of the website is still under construction. It's going to take me a little bit to get to that point. I am a published writer. I really enjoy playing with words, and I do have a lot of great ideas that I want to get out on the blog and just like out of my head and into the ethers for you all to enjoy. But that has not been my priority in the last couple of weeks. And the last couple of weeks, I've been asked to kind of step into my calling and who I am as a spiritual being walking on this earth. And what that looks like is I have extensive experience in grieving and loss. I have lost at minimum 27 people that have been very close to me in my life. I'm only 45. I started losing grandparents when I was 6, and then it just went on from there. I've lost grandparents, I've lost friends, I've had several miscarriages. Thankfully, my siblings and my parents are still alive, but I've walked close with my friends who've lost their parents. And yeah, lots of other loss. My ex-husband died, and he was already my ex-husband when he died, but that was one of those situations that I call forbidden loss, where people in society don't really recognize how that impacts a person. Another example of a forbidden loss is, like, say, your high school best friend who you haven't spoken to in 15, 20 years, but they were, like, you guys were completely inseparable all through high school, and then they pass away. It's still a really big impact on your heart and in your system. I've experienced that. So I've lost friends that way. I've lost my ex-husband that way. I've walked with my best friend as she lost her ex-husband that way. It's just, it's been a real path in my life. I think my soul signed up to learn and to walk closely with death. And as you know, I mean, I love walking through the graveyards. I love the history. I love the lore and the stories behind people's stories and their experience in death. So I walk closely with death, and in addition to that, I have a degree in human services, which allows me to do support groups for all kinds of different, support groups. But when I was in college, I definitely thought that I would be walking as a grief walker, as a grief support counselor. And yeah, I just ended up pursuing my horticulture degree on a deeper level. I obviously love gardening, and I stepped into a career where I was gardening, being a landscaper for many years. And then when I moved to the coast, we obviously started developing our gardens here. And then we started this YouTube channel, which has been really heavy on the garden aspect of everything, which has been super fun. And I love sharing my garden with you, and I love sharing other gardens with you and all of that. But it is also time for me to sort of step into my more aligned and empowered position in my life journey and my life path. And so the Gardens and Graveyards channel website is really kind of geared towards that. And on that website, you will find in the service section that you can purchase, you'll see this video tomorrow, and by tomorrow, not every single button will be available for you to do everything, but you'll see what's coming, and you'll see what is available. And what is coming is self-guided rituals that you can do to help transition your life through different aspects of death. And ritual bundles, which will include like a really simplified ritual, more in-depth ritual, and most likely an audio visualization that I can guide you through to help you incorporate and sort of digest how you want to kind of show up in your life and walk from this point on. My goal is never for anyone to like move on from their grief, but it is my goal to help you find joy even in your grief, to find a way to embrace your life now, walking forward after your loss. The other thing that I'm really excited to offer is I'm opening up a 9-week virtual program that is called Spring Transition. It is a, the title is Spring Transition, Transform Your Life Through Grief with Goddess Influence and Horticulture Therapy. So we will be using horticulture therapy like for physical boots on the ground integration, and we will be looking at the Divine Feminine to incorporate into our spiritual side so that we can kind of embrace grief, embrace death, and move into a more empowered position after grief, or through grief. You can obviously go to the website, read the description, learn a little bit more about it, but it is a 9-week program. You'll get PDFs with it. We'll meet once a week. It's starting, we're going to open the doors next week, and it's going to, let's see, are we starting next week? It is, yeah, so we'll be opening the doors next week, and we'll be starting on the 19th of March. So if you're interested in it at all, you can go to the website, check it out. And there's a, payment thing and all the good things. You could just click on those, take a look at it, and see what you think. The ritual guides will be coming out over the next week. I hope that they'll be ready and available by next Friday. We also will be having a couple of little free things that people can pick up if you join our mailing list, or you could just join our mailing list because you love us, and that's perfectly fine, and you'll get emails periodically talking about new programs that we're going to have. Eventually, I'd like to incorporate a newsletter, maybe like a weekly or every other week. Maybe it'll be like a moonly, like maybe on the new moon and the full moon, we have a newsletter come out. But that is definitely not fleshed out at all yet, kind of along the lines of my blog, right? So both those things are like very righty. And right now I'm developing this program for the spring transition. And my goal with the 9-week programs is to offer a program every season. So we'll have spring, summer, fall, and winter. Some of those programs will be a little bit shorter, and some, well, they'll always cap out at 9 weeks, but some of them might be only a 6-week program. So they will build on each other, so you could just keep coming back, or they can also be used as a standalone program. So that is what's going on, and that's why things have been a little bit spotty, because developing a brand new program and expanding on your business is like a really big deal, and it takes a lot of time and brain power, and I just haven't had the capacity to also film and edit and get videos out. But we're kind of at the tail end of the development portion, and now it's just about implementing everything. And so I do believe that our videos will become more consistent once more. I know it's only been a couple of weeks of spottiness, and I'm usually really consistent with a video almost every single day. So I just want to apologize to those of you who have been following us for a while and you're loyal, and like super fans on our YouTube channel. I so appreciate each and every one of you, and I love all your comments. I love the momentum that we have going on with this community here. My virtual programs, while I will let you know that they're happening, and I will encourage you all to go check out the blog once that starts happening, because the blog will kind of have it'll have a dualistic thing happening. So I'll have like mystical folklore stuff going on, and I'll have practical tips and organization things for the garden going on. So there's a little something for everyone there. But my YouTube channel won't change that much. It's not going to go like super heavy on the grief or the support or that kind of thing. It will stay pretty heavy on the garden aspect of life. Yeah, so there we go. That's what's going on with me and our channel, and I hope that it all made sense. I wasn't just kind of like all over the place. I'm excited and a little bit nervous opening up the program, because it is just like a whole new dynamic to what we have going on here. But it's going to be really fun to create that community as well. And I just wanted you all to know that you won't be neglected and you won't be forgotten, and that we will be back on track here very shortly. And then, yeah, I guess I should say March is still a little bit like, not a ton going on in the garden, but come April, we'll be hitting, what's the term? Hit the ground running with all the plants, because there's lots to do after the rains stop, right? Oh, gosh, so many fun and exciting things happening in our lives, and I hope that you are also finding fun and inspirational, exciting things to happen in your life. And even if you don't think there is, I hope that you can celebrate your life, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.